Moving on to the topic of SOC, right? How's Wipro or how other larger companies, SOC providers or MSSPs,
Yeah.
what do you recommend of like human oversight? How does it fit into
Yeah.
AI automated SOCs? Like,
In
where are you seeing changes and
in
trends?
my Wipro has some offerings on AI augmented security operations centers, and we have that as a shared service. And AI does a lot of the initial triaging. I think the official advertising is takes the place of a level one kind of analyst, kind of always have eyes on glass. I see it as more of a 0.5 person, right? And the way that we implement it is there's a team that is still processing all of those, but it's helping reduce the noise and kind of set some level, right? Because I think if everything's critical, then nothing's critical. So
Yeah.
having some assistance on identifying those or connecting it to like CMDB or those things so that your crown jewels are alerting higher than other things, right? Getting that set up, especially in a larger shared environment, is difficult. So having a tool like that is helpful. With the SOCs, that I'm managing, we use a lot of tools, Copilot. Some of us are using Claude and some other things, enterprise level, right? So it has the enterprise agreements, has SSO, has control over the data to help do some of the basic research. Something that we would have done before, where I'd have to understand, read several books and then Google for an hour to understand some of the dev concepts behind why an exploit works and how those things happen. I can go Grok or Claude or whoever explain this to me and walk me through it. And depending on how you set it up, you can actually personalize its input. So it roughly what your background is and your level of understanding. So you can kind of skip the low level stuff. So I think anybody
Right.
that used any AI, you're like, hey, give me this problem or the solution, figure it out, don't make mistakes, right? When you customize and you kind of know how to use it a little bit more, you can walk it through. So you're not telling it, don't make mistakes. You're telling it, I already know these things. Let's move on to the more complicated points that I need explanation on. So you get into, hey, I have these red team findings. What does that mean? How do I translate that into fixes? I have this great example recently is there's this Excel that has a weird macro. What is that? What is that doing? What is it? Why is it connecting to that? How does that work? What even is VB script? That was a question I got from a SOC analyst because they're 12, right? I'm exaggerating, but they're very young.
Right.
So there's things like that work, but AI is only great at the things that are all over the internet. So things like Rust, programming languages like Rust, and a bunch of other topics that aren't well documented on the internet, or maybe they are, but it's at a topical level. You're never going to get into the deeper area because the AI just doesn't have that context. So you gotta understand like what you're doing and know when you don't know something and when know enough to know when the AI doesn't know something, because they can be pretty confident about how wrong they are sometimes.